the golden child, the black sheep, the scapegoat. Pay attention to these terms that describe the family dynamics that people experience growing up. The golden child, for one, for example, is a term used to describe that perfect child that grew up and got everything that he or she wanted, was always the one deemed to be spoiled or gets the special privileges, or the one that's always praised for being the good one in the family. The black sheep is almost like the exact opposite of the golden child. That is the one that is always ostracized, the one that is villainized, the one that is the blame, the one left out, the one that is isolated or that separates themselves from the norms of the family traditions. The scapegoat, in a similar vein as the black sheep, the one that is it's their fault. Often they're the accused one or the blamed. If something were to happen to go wrong, family reunions, they are the ones that are usually the culprit. But for each one of these, you'll find that there are traumas that grow out of them. Some mislabeling also occurs as well. You will have the golden child will grow up being praised and often celebrated, will grow up and become people pleasers and ultimately become those that hate themselves because they will lose a slight sense of identity with who they are, and they'll have a difficult time maintaining a degree of authenticity in different settings. The black sheep will often isolate themselves growing up, and then they'll find their own circles of people to be around. They might even find themselves completely eliminating the family dynamic from their lives altogether. The scapegoat might grow and become reckless or even hypervigilant or empowered more because they are now living life based off of their own terms, and they don't need the say from the family anymore to do whatever that they do, good or bad. All three of these dynamics have their traumas that impact an individual. And it makes me think about my upbringing and how I felt mislabeled oftentimes and branded as the golden child or treated as such, even if the branding wasn't specifically there. The treatment of such, and it makes you feel to a degree, or at least it made me feel, that for any accomplishments or any success in life that I've had in comparison to that of someone else that was labeled the scapegoat or the black sheep, it was almost as if there was a constant clash, there was a constant envy or a sense of a resentment. That phrasing that you would hear, oh, you think you're so good, you're this and you're that, or all of these phrasings that you would hear whenever there's another thing that you are to be celebrated for. So it may not always, in my life, it wasn't always so blatant. It wasn't so blatant of a thing to hear, to say, oh, you're thinking you're so better than anyone else. It was the treatment of such. It was feeling that I wanted to hide a lot of my accomplishments or hide a lot of my noteworthy things that I've done in life, because I didn't want anybody else to feel uncomfortable or feel that I was gloating or that I was, projecting my successes onto anybody else to make them feel inferior or any of those things. So I would reduce and dim myself, or even take the humility, humble approach, because I felt, well, I don't want to walk around having anybody to think that I feel that I'm better than someone else. So let me praise, honor, and bring forth the light that I see in other people while I reduce my own, so that they don't feel that I'm shining too brightly myself. Oftentimes that will be to the black sheep that I'm doing it to, or to the scapegoat that I'm doing it to. But oftentimes I realized I never asked for this to begin with. I don't even feel that with the dynamic of which I grew up in, I was given anything. I was given something that someone else didn't have, or the opportunities that came my way was something that the next person in my family that was typically labeled the black sheep or the scapegoat didn't have. So I never asked to be put on this obscure pedestal that I was placed in. I didn't grow up with all of these different the silver plate. Ultimately, it felt burdening to me because I had to then unlearn a lot of things. I had to unlearn the people pleasing mindset. I had to unlearn the toxic definitions of humility and reducing yourself, and truly being more self-accepting. Because if I'm just being humble because I don't want somebody else to feel uncomfortable, well, that's not a good reason for me to reduce the nature of me feeling proud of my accomplishments and the things that I've achieved in life. You have to be really, really careful about that part of it as well. Just because you feel that you're in a room for people that are not truly proud of your successes, that are not truly happy for how far you've come or the things that you had to overcome to get there. I had to unlearn a lot of those things and actually be proud of where I stand because I've overcome those things, and whatever hypervigilance or strength that I needed to get through those things wasn't because I wanted to prove that I was better than somebody else. I was just trying to be the best version, a better version of myself. So right above my head here is one of my favorite poems, Our Deepest Fear, by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Because we ask ourselves these questions all the time, like, who am I to be this, and this, and this? In the poem, just as it says, who are you not to be those things? You are always meant to shine, just as children do. So to go back to even the black sheep and the scapegoat part of it, sometimes the black sheep can be the light that shines underneath or that resonates within what people will see in the golden child. They just haven't had the opportunity to either find those things that make them shine or have the environments that will allow for them to shine the way that they will want to. Maybe for some external reasons outside their control. Just a variety of different ways in which a person has just been a victim of circumstance. They aren't the victims. They have been victimized by an environment, a people, for so long that they had to develop the coping skills to get through those things, even if it was unhealthy or not appropriate fitting the setting, those things. But the black sheep of the family is not always deemed to be in a negative sense, interpreted as in a negative way, but in a way that helps us to understand that we are imperfect beings. And all three of these terms deal with people that struggle with having that self-acceptance, that self-love. They might struggle with self-esteem, self-efficacy, all of those things because of how someone else made them feel, how the family has grown to make them feel, and how they had to overcome those things. And sometimes you can't heal from the same environment that you received your traumas from. Sometimes it takes deep self-reflection to understand that by definition, you're wondering how your upbringing has had an effect on you and what you need to contrive from that and who you are now and what you can be proud of now and who deserves to be in your circle now, today. So when I think about those family dynamics, those terms, I really think about the unfortunate placement that a lot of children have when they are experiencing the complexities of what it means to be any of the three: the golden child, the scapegoat, or the black sheep of the family.